You're watching Study with Sudhir. This is your digital classroom. My name is TS Sudhir. 2020 is going to be a watershed year for more reasons than one, especially in the field of education, because online education or digital education has come to stay as far as the field of education is concerned in a big way. Most schools, most colleges, all educational institutions are beginning to embrace digital education in some form or the other, right? You must have been exposed to online classes before the summer vacation, and now after the summer vacation, it will take some time before physical classes can actually start. And even when physical classes will actually start in schools, there will be some percentage of chapters, subjects, classes which will be taken in the online form, right? So I have been speaking to a number of students, teachers and parents, the three main stakeholders in this new form of teaching, as it were, at least in the Indian context, and a lot of learnings from these three stakeholders. And I have 10 points to make. I'm calling it the 10-pointer guide to online learning. And I will give the students one super tip right at the end of this video. So stay on till the end. What do the students need to take care of? And this is very important. And I have 5 points to make to all the students who are already or will be part of this kind of an online teaching tool. And they end up spending some 3 hours, 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours in front of either a laptop or a mobile phone. Okay. Now, there is always a particular atmosphere inside a classroom, right? You have the teacher keeping an eye on you. So you stay focused at least most of the time. And I'm not talking of backbenchers. But at home, what happens is that each one of you can actually slip into the role of a backbencher. That is, not paying adequate attention, right? Because there is that feeling that you are not under any kind of constant watch. Unless and until, of course, there is a parent or a relative or a family member also sitting in the same room keeping a watch on you. But that doesn't happen most of the time, I would assume. But that feeling of a classroom where the teacher can constantly see and monitor whether you are concentrating and focusing, at least that's not there in a digital classroom, right? So my first point to you is that it is in your own interest to stay focused. So one of the ways you can actually do that is to wear a headphone, because that will help you keep out the surround sound and keep out the distractions, and you will be focused on what is happening inside your world of a digital classroom, right? So this is an important tip which I would advise most of you to follow. Number 2, and this is something which many students do not chat on a side screen while the class is actually going on. I know not every class will be very interesting. Some will be very interesting. Some will be boring. I do understand that. But do not give in to the temptation of actually indulging in a side chat at the same time, because while you're doing it and perhaps enjoying it most of the time, you're only actually wasting your time, because it's quite possible that these chapters will not be covered inside a physical class by your teachers at the school. So who is the loser? The loser, the person to lose out will be you, right? Point number 3, and this is very important. Take notes, just like what you do inside a physical classroom. Take notes because it will, one, help you stay focused. And also what you should do is that after the class session gets over at the end of the day, spend at least 15 to 20 minutes giving it a quick read, revising it. That will help you in the long run. Trust me, these kind of quick revisions always help you stay with the chapter, and if you go back to it after 3-4 days, you'll be able to remember at least some of the points that your teacher had taught you inside the digital classroom. So please remember that online classes, as I said right at the beginning, is going to stay. So it's in your best interest to get used to this regimen. Number 4, at the beginning of the class, before the classes start in the morning, ensure that you're fresh, you have taken a shower. Do not get up at 7:55 a.m. or 8:25 a.m. for an 8:30 a.m. class, right? Just in time, 5 minutes before the classes begin, and dive into it not feeling fresh at all. So please ensure that you are up and running a good 45 minutes to an hour before the classes start, so that you're fresh, You have kept all your books on the side. You know what exactly you need in terms of the timetable which has been set by the school, so that you are well prepared, just like you are inside a physical classroom at the school. Point number 5 for students: wash your eyes and your face during every minute or 2-minute long break that you get between one class and another class. This is very important, because a laptop with all the screen brightness or a mobile phone put your eyes under a lot of strain, and this may end up you acquiring specs if you already don't have it. So the strain on your eyes will be immense. So it's important to keep on kind of washing your face and especially eyes at regular intervals, and every time you make that trip to your wash basin will only actually help you kind of stretch a bit. So please do that as a matter of habit and practice. Okay, so that was for the students. Let's now come to the teachers. Okay, it's not my case to be advising teachers, but I spoke to a couple of teachers and they had some interesting aspects to share, which I thought was very interesting, which many other teachers who are also getting into online education and online learning and teaching would find useful. A very senior teacher told me an interesting aspect that she had observed inside her digital classroom. She said a few students who would otherwise never speak in her physical class, those she had been used to teaching in junior classes, now actually spoke up during the online class, and this she found very interesting. Because in a physical class, and this was her conclusion and I agree with it, he or she, the student, would be kind of intimidated by the presence of other students, especially if this student is not deemed to be a very bright student, and he would feel that if he says something or if he asks a doubt, he could be ridiculed by the so-called more bright students inside the classroom. They could say that that particular doubt was rather silly or very, very basic. But the teacher told me that in the comfort zone of the home, that particular student or some such students were actually speaking up and interacting with the teachers, which they never did inside a physical classroom. So she thought that's an encouraging sign, and I do agree. And teachers across the country, I would really suggest, should encourage this to the maximum extent possible. Try and get maximum number of students to kind of participate in this process of digital interaction, right? Another aspect from the teachers, another important aspect that has come to the fore is that students are actually better at handling technology than the teachers, right? Like in my own case, Tejaswini is my guru when it comes to matters of technology. Okay, so they guide the teacher and this makes them feel better and confident. I'm talking about the students. So teachers should actually allow this, encourage the students, because it also helps some of the more shy students to open up. Okay, so allow them to feel good that they are able to guide the teacher when it comes to matters of technology. Okay, it will help in better bonding, because remember, you are teaching in a virtual medium now. You are not there in flesh and blood. So there is a certain amount of distance. So if you actually allow the students to feel good that they are able to kind of play a part in the class actually going on well, it will make them partners in the entire virtual classroom process. This is a good psychological tool that the teachers must use, must employ in order to ensure that the students also feel equally vested in the entire process of digital education and learning. Okay. But finally, the third point for the teachers, always remember, and this is coming from me as someone who has been in the digital space for close to 25 to 30 years, there is really no substitute for a great teacher, a good quality teacher. So if you are a good teacher, do not get bogged down by the fact that you are not able to adapt successfully to the online tools, right? You will shine if you are a good teacher, which I believe most of you are. You will shine irrespective of whether you are in the online space or in the offline space. No doubts about that. Just make sure of a couple of things, that your audio quality of your mic is absolutely first class. Very important. A bad quality audio, fan sound, wind sound, somebody talking from the other room, that can all be distractions which you should cut off. So your audio, preferably the mic should be a unidirectional mic that picks up only your audio. Point number one. Point number 2, your Wi-Fi or mobile data connectivity should be perfect. Preferably, I know there can be glitches, which is fine, but otherwise invest in a good quality Wi-Fi connection or a broadband mobile data connection and you'll be good to go. So ensure these small things, like for instance, there should be no light falling on your whiteboard or your green board, which makes reading what you have written on the board difficult. So now if you do this kind of small things, you'll be good to go. There will be absolutely no glitches. Final 2 tips, tip number 9 and 10 comes for parents. Okay. Do not be part of the digital classroom. Do not sit with your child and be part of the classroom listening to what the students are being taught by the teachers, right? Do not try to monitor how the class is being conducted, okay? Because as I said in the section devoted to teachers, there are many teachers who are adapting to this new medium. You need to give them time. They're all learning the ropes, right? So you need to show them patience. They're all intelligence. They are intelligent. They are educators who have been in the field of education for many, many years. So they will only get better at it. Okay, you just need to give them some time. It's just like if you are a working professional, obviously on day 1 of a new project that you would probably be handling, you would not be at your best. Similarly, the teachers also need that bit of time to get acclimatized and accustomed to this new medium of teaching, right? Last point, many parents, I believe, are getting down to asking doubts to the teachers, right? And I'm told this happens most often with parents who are either engineers or doctors, and they ask these doubts during the physics or the maths or the biology class. My suggestion is, my advice is, please do not. Okay, if you have a doubt, ask it privately, offline. The digital classroom is the karma bhumi, is the space of the teachers and the students. There is really no space for the parents to be there. Just like there is a parent teachers association PTA meetings every second Saturday or whenever at the school, seek time offline with the teacher and she'll be more than happy or he'll be more than happy to address those concerns separately. But do not try to show off inside a digital classroom or try to prove worse that the teacher is wrong. Do not do that. You will be only harming the whole ecosystem, the healthy ecosystem that the teacher is trying to develop, this new kind of a virtual bond that she's trying to develop with the students. Finally, one super tip, in addition to what your school teachers teach you, for those of you who do not go to a personalized tuition, identify a YouTube channel or an app for each of the subjects that you have as part of your syllabus. Focus on learning, preferably go through that chapter a day before your teacher is going to teach that in the classroom. That will really help. Also, never compare your school teacher with the educator on YouTube. Okay, just like you and your friends are not the same, no two teachers are the same. So do not compare. Everyone brings different kind of skill sets to the table. Some are good, some are not so good, some are good at some other things. So everyone is different. So give them that kind of a leeway. I hope this helped and you will be able to look at this entire new genre of online teaching, online learning in a new light. Thank you very much for watching.